Practicing your salat was your homework. I know you sisters know the salat, but some of the others may not. And yeah, just go in the sisters group and either record it or just check on each other. It's like, hey, we were supposed to memorize the Fatiha. Who hasn't done it? Just reminding each other throughout the week, because there's no way we can just do it in class and people are going to memorize it, right? They has to take time out on their own. They'll have to take time out on their own to do that, and it's just holding everybody accountable and reminding people. That was me again. I posted the link into class. All right. Where were we? We're on page, well, for me, it's page 95, right? The number of rak'ahs in each salah. Yeah, I'm on the PDF. So I'm on the one that says table of numbers of rak'ahs of each salat, right? Now, before that was the steps of salat, right? And I said that we're not going to, we read through it once, and that's just for everybody to memorize. And we demonstrated exactly how the positions are as well. The goal should be to memorize Surah Al-Fatiha, like 2 or 3 short surahs, and then Subhan Rabbil Azim, Subhan Rabbil Ala, and then the Tashahud. Tashahud's a little bit longer, so it might take a little bit, but if we can get that, then we can at least pray. And then we can keep adding onto it as far as the other du'as like Subhanakallahumma, the opening du'a, we can add that on later. Guys, it's not obligatory, but we're supposed to do it. Yeah, I think she's on her way.
Oh, she's on her way too?
Yeah.
Oh, Jaden.
Because she said she missed her alarm. She's going to
watch online.
No, after that, she said she's going to go. So,
Because I think everybody here already knows these.
Right. So then if everybody here knows it, then what, like I was mentioning, try to help the other sisters who are newer, make sure that they know their salat. And just remember that the reward for teaching somebody is, it's a huge reward, because if you teach somebody salat and they pray that throughout their lifetime, a part of that reward is for you every time they pray, if you've done it with sincerity. So, it's a good opportunity for reward. We have to look for these opportunities. We never know when we'll have, there's the hadith about sadaqah al-jariyah, your deeds stop except for 3 things. When you die, your deeds stop except for 3 things. One is the charity that's continuous, like you built a masjid and people pray in it, or you made a well and people benefit from the water. And the second, something that you taught somebody and then they act upon it. So if you teach somebody salat and they're praying after you've died, you can still gain good deeds after you've passed. And the third thing is pious children who make dua for you. So teaching somebody is a huge opportunity. Inshallah. Right? All right. There's also other du'as you can say, and you should say after the salat. So now, if you ladies have memorized the salat, then you should memorize the du'as for after salat as well, which was on the page before this, right? Like there's the du'a after the tashahud, after you made the tashahud, after you said the Durood Ibrahimi, right? There's a dua that's mentioned here. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-azabi jahannam wa min al-azabi qabr wa min al-fitnati mahyaya wa mamati wa min fitnati masih ad-dajjal. O Allah, I seek refuge from you from the torment of hellfire, from the torment of the grave, and the trial of life and death, and the trial of the Dajjal. So that's a dua that you should memorize. Also, in point number 4, after Salah, there are certain supplications of Allah's remembrance that are recommended in the Sunnah. For example, Ayatul Kursi, right, which is chapter 2, verse number 255, and the last 3, not the last 3 surahs of the Quran, but the 3, last 3 surahs, Kulu Allahu Ahad, Falaq, Nas, yes. And then saying Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar 33 times each. Right? Allahumma inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. So these are all different du'as and different remembrances that we should do after Salat. So if you've memorized the Salat, now you can add these on to beautify your Salat even more. You have a question?
Yeah, do you have a highlighter?
Oh, she does, okay. So these are the ways we can beautify and make our Salat even better. Any question on that so far? Okay. Does everybody here know the numbers of rakahs for each prayer? So there's different types of prayer, different categories. There's the obligatory farad prayers, there's the sunnahs, and the nawafil. The farad prayers are obligatory, those you have to do. If you do not do them, you incur sin upon yourself for not doing them. So for Fajr, those are 2 rakahs, Zuhr and Asr are both 4, Maghrib is 3, and Isha is 4. Yes, your question.
So, you remember when we learned about there's certain times we cannot pray?
Mm-hmm.
So, the Sunnah prayers before.
Islam.
The Sunnah prayers before. Do we do those right before the prayer comes in, and does that interfere with the time we cannot pray?
No, it shouldn't interfere with the time you cannot pray. So, for example, high noon, you're not supposed to pray, right? So the time for Zohar, that whatever goes off in your app is like a few minutes after that. So once that time starts, you can start your sunnahs and then pray your obligatory prayers.
So when the adhan goes off, then we can pray the 2 sunnahs before?
Yeah.
The 2 sunnahs before are before the first, not before the time of the prayer.
You're still going to pray them after. So the azan, when it goes off in your app, that signifies the start of the time of that prayer. So at 1:07, the azan goes off, signifying that the time for Zohar has started. So the prayers that you are doing with Zohar, the sunnahs before, the sunnahs, and then the farad, and then the sunnahs again, all of those are after the adhan. Right? Similarly for Maghrib, when we have the azan, then you start praying. So anything that you'll do is after the adhan. So if you do it that way, of course, then you're not going into those times and those 3 times when you're not supposed to pray, which is when the sun is rising, when the sun is setting, and high noon.
So when the sun is rising,
You should have already prayed your Fajr.
that means just when it's cresting the horizon.
That's that moment when the sun has just when it's fully risen. Yeah.
When it's fully risen,
Yes.
like the whole circle?
Yeah. So in your app it'll say sunrise at 6:18 or something like that.
Is that the time?
Yeah, that's the time you're not supposed to pray at that time. You're supposed to have made your fajr before that. So let's say you woke up at 6:18.
Wait,
Wait like 5 minutes to pray.
So that you're not praying right.
Right at that time, right?
So you can pray after it, you can't pray at it.
Yeah, you're not supposed to pray at that time. And it's only a couple minutes. Same
Well,
with
what happens if, though, you missed Fajr, the right time before that, then you pray after, it still counts?
so um you may not be rewarded for it or you may have less reward for it, but at least you fulfilled your obligation and not gone towards the punishment if you haven't done so on purpose. So you still have to fulfill the obligation.
I always thought it was the beginning of the sunrise, like when it tells them about sunrise, that the sun doesn't is beginning to rise.
That's not the beginning. No, dawn is when the sun begins to rise. That's when it's really just starts. Little what you know when it starts, and then when it's sunrise, it's like has cleared the horizon.
Even fasting before that.
but dawn, you don't see any of the sun.
No, you do, but you don't see it but it's just
As it crescent the horizon, you're seeing the light of the
right. But
sun.
you're yeah, it's just crossing the horizon a little bit.
When Shams and I were at the beach, we went to the beach to pray Fajr. And when Fajr came up, the Adhan went off, you could only see like the glow of the sun on the horizon.
Right.
And
And is that when you can differentiate black and white threads? Is that?
Yeah, that's that dawn.
An actual thread?
No, it's so it wasn't meant to be literal. The black thread of the night from the white thread of the dawn is what it meant. You can take the nicer chair if you like it. It's right there.
There's a chair here as well.
There's another chair here too. Okay, so where it says farad, those are the obligatory prayers that we have to pray, and if we don't, it incur sin on us. The sunnah prayers, whether they be before or after, are important, and we should pray them. We should make an effort to pray them. There's also other nawafil, the optional prayers where you can pray more than this, but
The sunnah before for the Zohar. Do most people do it as a 2 and a 2?
I think most people would do it as 2 and 2. Some people will do it at 4 altogether.
Most not doing it as a 4.
Yeah. I think the people who follow the Hanafi school of thought will do usually 4 together. But
Before Duha?
yeah,
Yeah, I know that if you do that, I don't know if it's true, that it's as if you prayed the whole night.
well, I don't know about that one, but it's the question is whether to do it 4 altogether or 2 and 2.
And now what he's doing is,
No, I don't
he's doing
think
it as a 4 rakat, but he's reciting a surah or reciting Quran in each of the 4.
Okay,
Because
so
normally in a 4 rakat, you just do it the first 2.
does he say salam in the middle? Does he do 2 and 2?
No. that's
Oh, okay.
4.
Okay.
He doesn't recites the Quran in all 4 of them.
Yeah, you can do that. But yeah, so some people will do it as 2 and 2, and some people will do it just 4 straight. The author here mentions 2 and 2. I think that's where most of the jurists fall into that opinion, and Allah knows best.
And then the sunnah before, for some reason, I don't think, when we pray together, we doesn't do the sunnah before for us.
Yeah, so it's not as emphasized as the one as for before Zohar. Some of these are more emphasized than others. Like the ones for Fajr are very important. There's a hadith about it. The 2 sunnahs before Fajr are more valuable than the whole world and that everything that's in it. So, and the ironic thing is those are the fastest and shortest ones that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to pray. He used to pray them, he didn't used to pray them long. And he used to read in the first rak'ah, of course, Surah Al-Fatiha and Surah Kafirun, and the second rak'ah he used to read Surah Qul Huwallahu Ahad. So it was short. Even with that brevity, it's still better than the dunya and all that's within it. So there's huge rewards in all of this if we're sincere with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And then the class is said to be a third of the Quran.
That is correct.
Say it 3 times, right?
No, well, it would equal 1/3 is 1 time is 1/3, right? If you read 3 times, it's as if you read the whole Quran.
And then there's is it half that's worth half of the Quran?
I haven't heard that one.
It's not worth having a Quran, it just lands in the middle of the Quran.
Yeah, Surah Kaf is the middle. Is actually, yeah, it's in the center. Okay, so some rules of Salat. There are certain recommended Sunnah prayers that are there's some of them highly recommended. Some of them are prayed just before the obligatory Salat. They're recommended by the Prophet ﷺ, and he used to offer them regularly. So a lot of times the Sunnah prayers that we do before the Farad, are the ones that he recommended. And one of the benefits, there's many benefits. One of the benefits of those, I think somebody had asked the question last week, is how do we increase our concentration in Salat? How do we increase our concentration in Salat? The one thing that we had mentioned was to pray the Sunnah prayers before the Salat, to get you in that mindset of, now I'm praying, now I have to concentrate. And then when you go towards your Farad, your mind is already conditioned and you're, away from your worldly thoughts and your things like that. Don't rush through your prayers. This should be a time where you're taking time out between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This should not be a time where you're rushing yourself. Just slow down and enjoy it. The extra few moments you're going to take in Salat, nothing bad is going to happen. The world isn't going to fall apart. You're not going to miss anything by concentrating on your Salat. If you need to shorten it, maybe you're afraid you're going to miss a flight or something like this, then shorten what you read as far as the surahs. Instead of reading something long, read Qul Huwallahu Ahad. But don't rush through the Salat. Fix your gaze to that point of prostration where you're going to bow. You should be looking right in front of you on the ground. You should not be looking around. If the Imam is reciting out loud, be quiet and listen to the Imam. If the Imam recites to himself, then you can recite to yourself in a low tone that you yourself can hear but others can't hear. Except for Surah Al-Fatiha, even when the Imam recites Surah Al-Fatiha, you should recite it as well to yourself, not out loud, but to yourself in a way you can hear it and not others.
But what if we're going too fast?
They do.
Then yes, they do go too fast. But you should still try your best to do it.
Right, so if they say.
But you don't have to do it with them. You can do it after him. You could do it before him, as long as you're reciting Surah Al-Fatiha.
How are you going to do that?
What do you
So if you're in congregation and you're praying and he recites too fast and you're like a line behind him and he says Allahu Akbar and you're going.
But usually after Surah Al-Fatiha, he's reciting some surah, right? You can finish up your Fatiha while he's still reciting.
What about, oh yes. That's true.
Right?
But what about the third and fourth rak'ah?
Then that's just on him. You should try your best to do it, but if he's going too fast, that's on him.
So then when he says Allahu Akbar, then you just.
Yeah. Unless you're like on the last part of it and you can finish. But this is a problem I have with a lot of the imams, that they recite too fast. They go way, way too fast. It's like, what's the rush? If we're here for Salat, what's the rush?
Maybe there should be something like, when they miss, they mess up something when reciting Quran and someone is like, or. what
Yeah,
they
right?
do. There should be something for
No, I mean,
going through.
and I think we shouldn't be afraid to talk to the masjid administration and be like, look, I'm trying to read Surah Al-Fatiha behind this, behind the imam. Can you tell him to slow down? And I think if enough people, not just shouting in the masjid, we don't want to shout in the masjid, but take the administrators or write a note and make that known, then things will start changing. I can't be the only one saying it, guys. I can't be the only bad guy here. Yeah, but there's certain masjids certain imams I can't even pray behind them. And you're right, they just go so fast. It's like you don't feel anything in prayer. You just did calisthenics, and that's not the essence of prayer. That's not what we should be doing.
It feels like they're just doing it to get it over with.
And that's not how it should be. This is a time we're supposed to concentrate and and I get it. I mean, if it's, for example, really, really hot or something like that, you want to shorten the prayer, okay, sure. But in normal situations, it's not, you shouldn't be rushing.
How would it be really, really high pray indoors?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying like if you're in the haram or something, I'm thinking like,
Yeah.
yeah, like in Mecca or something, they can go a little, go a little, but even there, they don't go shorter and stuff. They pray properly. So, but yes, you should recite Surah Al-Fatiha. When you're praying Jummah, Friday prayer, it's 2 rakahs if you're praying with the imam in the masjid. Right? If you're home and it's time for Jummah and you didn't attend the masjid, then obviously you pray your 4.
That's only for you attend the khutbah, right? But if you come up, like you're late.
No, so even if you're late to the khutbah, let's say, and you just got there for the time of salat, because you prayed 2, you pray 2. You just missed all the reward for the khutbah.
And also, if you talk in the khutbah, you lose the reward.
Yes.
Even if you're telling someone else to shh. This is very important for us ladies because,
Yeah. All right. So okay. Do we need to go through?
is it that you lose the reward for the khutbah or that your prayer is also zeroed out?
What for what? What's the question?
Talking.
No, you lose the reward for the khutbah.
Same for Eid prayer. If you talk during the khutbah, the Eid prayer.
Oh my God.
No.
There's a little bit of leniency on the Eid prayer. The khutbah of the Eid prayer isn't obligatory. It's obligatory for Friday. It's not obligatory for Eid prayer. But still, if you want to get up and leave, then get up and leave. Don't make noise while people are trying to, or imam is trying to give a khutbah. Okay, if you miss 1 rakah with the imam, you should follow the imam to the end, and you don't say salam. After he finishes, then you make up the rakahs that you missed. And how do you know if you've missed a rakah, missing a rakah? Some people say if you miss the standing part, you've missed the rakah. And some people say that if you miss the ruku, the bending part, then you've missed the rakah. So there's both opinions.
Like if you miss the Fatiha, you miss the rakah.
And that's why some people say if you miss the qiyam, then you miss the rakah. And some people say if you catch the ruku,
But you didn't say Surah Fatiha.
right? But some people say if you catch the ruku, then you get the rakah. I think the safest opinion is if you miss the standing part, then you've missed the rak'ah, then you should make it up. And Allah knows best.
So they've already started bending, missed it.
Because you didn't read Surah Al-Fatiha. I'm just kind of going over a lot of these things because there's some things in there like that we can go over later. Beware of performing salat in a rush. We talked about this because it causes the salat to be invalidated. Rasulullah SAW saw a man performing salat in a hurry, and he told him, "Go back and pray because you did not pray." And he repeated this a number of times. So rushing during salat, not giving each position its due right, meaning when you go down into ruku and you go down into your bending, you should let your bones settle. It's not like you go and come back up. You go into ruku, let your bones settle, you say what needs to be said, and then you stand back up.
Is
It
it
should-
true the longer you stay in that position, say, what we say, the more sins fall off?
Well, the more reward you could get, you can say. You can make it longer if you like, but at least the slot has to be proper.
Backing up to number 9, if you missed one or you came in late, you follow the imam, do you wait till he's, because you have to get up, do you wait till he says salam,
Yeah, you wait until he's made his salam completely.
the first?
Both of them.
Oh,
Yeah, he's made his salam, and then you stand up.
the right and the left.
Left, yes.
Oh,
Because it's considered one action.
Because I've seen some people get up right away even before.
No. You should wait till after the second salam and then stand up.
So the first one.
Yeah, no, wait till the second one, inshallah. Okay, we'll get into Sajda Saho sometime later. That's a different chapter. It's a little bit more complicated. Let's get into the conditions of salat. This is something that's easy, and then we'll read this and we'll end today. Okay, the conditions for the validity of salat. The following conditions must be met before you start the salat. And if any one of these is missing, your salat will be invalidated. So number 1, knowledge that the time for a particular salat has begun. It's sufficient to be reasonably certain. You cannot pray before the time, right? So if Fajr starts, let's say at 5 a.m., you can't pray Fajr at 4:30 or 4:45 just because you wanted to, right? You have to, I'm awake now, I'll just pray it now. No, you have to pray within the proper times. So if the time of the salat has not started yet, and it's like, okay, if you're reasonably certain, and this is kind of going back to, when people would judge by the sun, or maybe your phone charger, it has no charging in it, right? So you're kind of just judging by the sun, and you say, okay, it's dawn time now, or the sun has set, it's time for Maghrib, and you prayed, even if you're off by a little bit, okay, but you tried your best to be on time, so that's good. But you cannot know that the time hasn't started yet and pray. Second, to be in a state of purity, cleanse of major and minor impurity, based on the statement of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah will not accept the salat without purification. So this is why we spend so much time studying purification, because it's one of the conditions of salat. So not only, and we'll get, and this is the third part, but you should be, your physical self should be pure, as far as if it was obligatory for you to make the obligatory bath, then you've done that. If you do not have wudu, you've made wudu, and now you're standing in prayer. Third, cleanliness of one's body, clothing, and place of prayer. They should be free from impurities. For those impurities which we call najasa, right? Those impurities. For example, if somebody has, they're wearing clothes but there's urine on them or something like that, or other types of impurities, they should not pray in those clothes. Go and change into something else, or clean that away and then pray. Or praying in a place which itself is clearly impure.
Says that is if one has the power to achieve that, one is unable to remove their Lord if he prays in whatever state he's in.
So now let's think. Somebody is traveling in the desert. They don't have enough water to clean their clothes properly. There is some impurities there. They've tried to clean it, but it's still there. Go ahead and pray.
This reminds me of when they first started bombing Gaza, and even the earthquake victims of Turkey, they were under the rubble, and they were like, bring me water so I can perform wudu, and they're under the rubble.
Yeah.
Like, subhanAllah, like they could have just prayed just like that.
Subhanallah. Number 4, covering one's private parts. This is also obligatory to be clothed properly when we are praying. For the man, they must cover between their navel to their knees. That's obligatory. Also, their shoulders should be covered. Unless they're in haram. But even then, they should, when they're praying, they should cover their shoulders. They can, yeah. When you're praying, yes. Your shoulders should be covered in prayer. For women, the aura is her entire body other than her face and hands, and according to some, the feet as well. It's mandatory that the clothing should not be very light or very, sheer material or something like that where the skin can be seen. She should be properly clothed at the time, especially at the time of Salat. Number 5, to face towards the Qibla, towards to the sacred mosque in Mecca, towards the Kaaba. That's also one of the obligations. And, it's easy with apps. You can kind of use the app to find the right Qibla. Facing the Qibla is an obligation which may be waived if it's some of the voluntary prayers, because the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, used to sometimes pray while he was on a camel. So to do that, you would start your prayer facing the Qibla, pray, and wherever the camel takes you, whatever direction it takes you, that's fine. But that's not for the obligatory. That's just for sunnah prayers or nafil prayers. So if somebody wanted to pray in their car, not while you're driving, but you're a passenger and wanted to pray in the car, you would first try to face towards the Qibla as much as possible, say Allahu Akbar, and then wherever the car takes you, you're fine to pray. You got a question?
I'm just saying I can do that. Or people who have Teslas.
Yeah.
But even then, you still need to pay attention, right? The 7th is the intention for prayer. They should know which prayer you're going to pray. The intention does not have to be said should not be said in any words. There's no authentic words for intention. It's just an action of the heart. But you should also know what prayer you're praying and what you're going to do. Are you praying your sunnahs? Are you praying your farad? That should be in your mind. Right? Okay. Any questions on the conditions of salat? Pretty clear? All right. We'll get into the next chapter next time. Please keep working on your salat. If you've memorized the basic parts of salat, then start memorizing the du'as and the supplications that you can say after salat to beautify that even more, and try to help each other so that everybody has memorized the salat by the end of August. All right? And I will be asking. Any questions? Sister Hafsa can help as well if you ever need her help. She's a Quran teacher. She teaches little kids, so she's good at teaching. So, any questions before we wrap up? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك واشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك